It was supposed to be the best night of her life. Glitter, laughter, and one last dance before graduation. But by sunrise, 17-year-old Brooke Bennett was gone, leaving behind only a blood-stained corsage and a trail of secrets that would shake a small American town. It was a warm Friday evening in May 2008 when the town of Essex, Vermont, prepared for its high school prom, a night every student looked forward to. Brooke Bennett, a bright and cheerful 17-year-old, had spent the entire week talking about her dress, a light blue satin gown that shimmered under the gym lights. Friends described her as the kind of girl who lit up every room she entered, the one who always had a plan and a smile. At around 6:30 p.m., Brooke left home in her dad's old silver sedan. Her father, James Bennett, remembered she was beaming with excitement. He'd planned to pick her up at midnight after the dance, but that moment never came. By the time the prom ended, Brooke's friends were already posting pictures on MySpace, celebrating their night. But Brooke wasn't in any of the photos. No one had seen her since she left the dance floor around 9:45 p.m. Some said she went to the restroom. Others thought she stepped outside to take a call. But after that, nothing. At first, everyone assumed she'd gone to an after-party, the kind most teens kept secret from their parents. Her father waited until 3 a.m., then started calling her phone, straight to voicemail. By 5 a.m., he drove to every known friend's house. No one had seen her. By sunrise, James Bennett reported his daughter missing. Within hours, the story broke across local news. Missing teen after prom, police seek information. Essex police launched a full-scale search. Volunteers combed through nearby woods, streams, and parking lots. Drones hovered over open fields. Investigators quickly pulled phone records. Brooke's last tea. Next tea was sent at 9:48 p.m. just before she disappeared. It read, "Stepping out for a sec, be back soon." But she never came back. The first major clue appeared 2 days later when a jogger found a torn piece of blue fabric near an abandoned barn about 4 miles from the school. It looked like part of a prom dress. Forensics confirmed it was Brooke's. Rumors spread quickly across the small town. Some said she ran away with her boyfriend. Others whispered about a teacher who had taken an interest in her weeks earlier. But the police weren't guessing. They had one name, a family member who had picked her up from school several times in the past month. As detectives followed the trail, something chilling surfaced. Brooke's uncle, Michael Jacques, a man everyone thought they knew, was suddenly refusing to cooperate. The case that began as a teenage disappearance was about to unravel into one of Vermont's darkest criminal investigations. As the second week of Brooke's disappearance unfolded, investigators focused on one name that kept resurfacing: Michael Jacques, Brooke's 42-year-old uncle by marriage. To most in the quiet town of Essex, Michael was the friendly neighbor who waved at everyone and ran a small home repair business. But to those who looked closer, something about him never quite fit. When detectives first approached him, Michael appeared calm, too calm. Sitting on his porch with a cigarette, he claimed he hadn't seen Brooke since a family barbecue the previous weekend. "She's a good girl," he said, shrugging. "Probably just ran off with her boyfriend or something." But police noticed his hands trembled slightly as he spoke. At first, they had no solid evidence against him. That changed when investigators pulled cell tower data from the night Brooke vanished. Her phone had pinged near Michael Jacques' residence between 10 o'clock and 10:20 p.m., a crucial window after she left prom. The discovery raised red flags. Detectives obtained a search warrant. What they found in his basement changed the tone of the entire investigation. Hidden behind a false wall, officers uncovered a small recording setup, duct tape, a blanket, and a broken camera. It was enough to turn suspicion into fear. Still, there was no sign of Brooke, and without a body, they couldn't make an arrest. But the detectives pressed on. The FBI joined the case, and a team began to dig into Michael's background. What they uncovered was disturbing. Years earlier, he had been convicted of sexual assault against a minor, but served minimal time. After his release, he was required to register as a sex offender, but somehow he never did. No one in the neighborhood, not even Brooke's family, knew his past. When investigators confronted him about the basement discovery, his calm demeanor cracked. "That's just old junk from when I used to fix cameras," he muttered, refusing to say more. But the evidence told a different story. Days later, police obtained surveillance footage from a gas station on Route 15, about 3 miles from Brooke's school. The video showed Michael's white pickup truck passing by at 10:12 p.m., minutes after Brooke's last text message. In the passenger seat was what looked like a girl in a prom dress. The footage wasn't crystal clear, but it was enough for authorities to detain him for questioning. The entire town watched as Michael Jacques was led away in handcuffs, his eyes blank, his face emotionless. As the news spread, Brooke's father collapsed in tears. "It can't be him," he whispered. "He was family." But investigators feared the worst. The basement evidence suggested this wasn't a random crime. It was planned. Michael's internet search history revealed phrases like, "how to erase phone data," "how long before DNA disappears," and "missing persons Vermont." Every lead pointed toward him, but they still needed proof of what happened to Brooke. Then came the twist. While examining his old laptop, the FBI found encrypted files, hundreds of them. When decoded, they contained chat logs and emails from a secret online group dedicated to trafficking minors. And in one of those messages, dated the night of Brooke's disappearance, Michael Jacques had written, "I've got her. It's done." The evidence was overwhelming, but the horror was only beginning. Because what investigators found next would not only expose Michael's secret life, but also uncover a dark network operating right under their noses. For weeks, the town of Essex sat frozen in fear and disbelief. The arrest of Michael Jacques had shattered their sense of safety, but investigators knew the case wasn't over. What they had discovered on his laptop hinted at something far larger than one man's crime, a shadowy web of people connected through hidden online channels. Federal agents from the FBI's cyber division joined the local team. Working from a temporary command center in Burlington, they began piecing together the encrypted messages recovered from Jacques' computer. Each decoded file revealed usernames, timestamps, and strange coded phrases. One message read, "Shipment confirmed, East Corridor." Another listed what looked like meeting coordinates. The FBI analysts traced the messages across servers in 3 different states. Eventually, they found the hub, a private online forum disguised as a photography discussion board. Behind that innocent facade, investigators uncovered an underground community exchanging illegal material and personal data. The deeper they went, the clearer it became. Jacques was only one link in a much bigger operation. Agents began coordinating raids across multiple locations in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. Every new arrest brought fresh evidence: hard drives, notebooks, coded ledgers. It was a digital maze, but persistence paid off. Within 2 weeks, the FBI had mapped the entire network and dismantled it piece by piece. During further interrogation, Jacques finally began to talk. The pressure of the investigation and the mounting evidence broke through his calm facade. He admitted that he'd been recruited by someone online months before Brooke disappeared, promising money and secrecy. The more he spoke, the more investigators realized how easily ordinary people could be drawn into dangerous networks without understanding the full consequences of them. In his confession, search teams combed through the areas he mentioned. In a wooded clearing less than 10 miles from town, they discovered personal items that confirmed Brooke's last known location. That evidence provided the closure the Bennett family had been praying for. The truth, at last, though not the ending they had hoped. When the verdict came, the entire community gathered outside the courthouse. Reporters stood shoulder to shoulder with candle-holding neighbors as the judge read the sentence: life imprisonment without parole. The courtroom was silent, except for the quiet sobs of Brooke's father. But the story didn't end in despair. Out of tragedy came change. Vermont lawmakers introduced stricter online safety laws, and schools began hosting workshops on internet awareness. Brooke's classmates started a foundation in her name to help protect vulnerable teens and to support families of missing persons. In the years that followed, her story became a warning and a call to action. Documentaries, podcasts, and classrooms discussed how one small town uncovered a digital network hiding in plain sight. The FBI credited the persistence of local volunteers and Brooke's family for keeping the investigation alive. As the narrator closes the video, the screen fades to a photo of Brooke smiling in her blue prom dress, a symbol of light amid darkness. "Evil may hide in shadows," the narrator says, "but truth always finds a way to shine through." And because one family refused to give up, countless others will now be safe.